Vanakkam, Namaste, and blessings to everyone. This is Dr. Bhairavi Balasubramanian, PhD, the Sky Priestess. Today I'd like to bring you a video about Uranus-in-Taurus. Now, all of us have been talking about this, at least those within the astrological community, for some time. And at a logical level, at the very least, we kind of know what to expect. Uranus will be in Taurus till around about 2026. So we've got a few years of growth and development that we can expect to see with this alignment. Historically speaking, Uranus in Taurus has been associated with political developments of a less happy nature. So let us not be under the illusion that it's all going to be a bed of roses instantly. And let's look at why. Uranus is the planet of revolution and change. It is the planet that brings us breakthroughs but equally breakdowns. And in the sign of Taurus, it focuses upon our desires of control, of possession, and the ways we lay stakes or claims under the material three-dimensional world around us. This can be a phenomenal time for those of you who are involved in the financial industries if you are able and ready and willing to adapt to changes that you will see in those industries. This is a great time for spiritualists who are focused more so on an embodied, earthy, somatic relationship with spirit, understanding that our connection with spirit is not one of the mind or one of philosophy or one of things that are based on what we read or what others teach us, but rather our connection with spirit now needs to be anchored in the consciousness that arises through our cellular matrix as in of itself. Now, these are all very serious themes and concepts, and Uranus in Taurus is no joke. But at the same time, if you look at the essence of Uranus in Taurus, this can be a very, very sweet, gentle, frolicky, loving type of energy because Taurus just want to have fun. But essentially, even as we are asked to reconcile some of the more political, some of the more financial, some of the heavier, more material concerns that Uranus is trying to break through this encrusted, more conservative, more solid layer of Taurian energy, even as we're doing that hard and deep work of restructuring our relationship with the material world, let us not forget the lightness and the sweetness. Let us not forget that all this work we are doing is not to invalidate the presence of joy and beauty and sensitivity and sensuality on the path. In fact, they go hand in hand. They go together. Understand that in this time period, you are invited to play. You are invited, not in a self-indulgent way, but in a way that actually makes play and joy almost a form of resistance to the status quo that says that, you have to be spiritual in such and such a way, or you have to achieve materially in such and such a way. You are resisting the moment you say, screw you, status quo. I am going to be what I am. I am going to enjoy my body. I am going to enjoy being on this planet. I am going to bring joy to others. That, my friends, is an act of revolution. It's not just about the big words, but it's about the little things and the way we structure ourselves on a daily basis. It's about how we bring this emerging consciousness, not just into the bodies or rather into our individual bodies, but equally into the body of the communities that we will be a part of. Social media will be a big part of this change. The way you create your tribe on social media is very, very important. You need to have this balance of the soft, frolicky, sweet little Taurus and the Taurus with the horns who will charge as and when appropriate. There are two sides. In fact, there are multiple sides to this Uranus and Taurus placement. But we will not be fully settled into this placement until March 2019, because Uranus will then retrograde into Aries between November 2018 up till March. We will still have some challenges, some final lessons, some final gifts and opportunities to refine ourselves and align ourselves with the I am consciousness that will then ooze through our Taurian cellular matrix. Now, for those of you who are having difficulties with this alignment, I would highly recommend the use of essential oils such as myrrh, geranium, perhaps mix it with a little bit of vetiver, and make sure you look up dosage, dilutions, and contraindications, because essential oils are not to be taken lightly. I would also recommend the use of crystals such as unakite. Unakite is something you wear for long periods of time because it helps you release trauma from the cells, but you need to recharge it and wash it regularly. You may also want to use okanite, a very fragile, beautiful little stone. That's Okenite, for those of you who are having severe triggering surrounding the question of belonging and worthiness. I would especially recommend the use of myrrh, whether as a resin or whether as an essential oil, because it brings us back into that space in which we feel safe enough to listen to our bodies. Irrespective if our bodies are screaming pain, that's still a message. Or if our bodies are radiating rage, that's still a message. We need to go back to the body to listen to what it has to say. Do not confine your expectations of Uranus and Taurus into a single box. It's not going to be just about, strife and chaos and change and whatever. And believe me, those things are going to be happening. But it is also going to be about that act of revolution, that act of resistance that says, through this chaos, I will find joy. Through whatever that is happening about me, I will be a beacon of the new wave of consciousness. And we see that with the children who come now. They somehow realize, okay, the world is pretty effed up, but I'm still going to be a lighthouse. I'm still going to be a beacon of hope. It's not that they come into the world, with this written down on their foreheads. That's just what they're doing. Remember that our greatest teachers are always going to be children. No matter what we learn, no matter how far we go in the journey, look to the children who are beginning to understand their own consciousness at this time, because they will be the ones that will show us the way forwards. I also want you to be mindful of the fact that we've just had a new moon in Taurus, and we are just about to have Mars at 29 degrees Capricorn moving into Aquarius, as it will be squaring Uranus as well. We will see this alignment repeated because Mars will have its own retrograde, and it will go back over this point, and it will come back again. So whatever you are working on now, know that you will continue working on it for the next few months. This isn't a cut-off date. You haven't missed the boat. It hasn't left without you. Whatever you may still be struggling with, you still have time to work through it. Make sure that you have facilitators who understand your process, who do not need to impose their own views and values and judgments upon who you are and where you are going, but at the same time have, shall we say, the, what's the word I'm looking for? The clarity to basically tell you where you might be in a state of delusional la-la land. It's always challenging to find a facilitator who can do both. But I would say, taking that all together, taking that larger picture, the thing that you can do right now in your homes, in just your daily aspects of life, is to honor your body, listen to what it's saying, eat consciously. If you can, switch to more organic products if you can manage that. Maybe even have your own garden. Start paying attention to the cycles of the land and the earth around you, because that is important. Try to avoid the tendency to over-intellectualize what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're seeing, because really this consciousness needs to come from the side, or rather through the five senses of being, not just the mind, which is its own thing, but really literally through your physical self. And above all, remember that we are breaking through years and years, lifetimes of conditioning. Conditioning that has told us that we are not worthy, we are not adequate, we do not deserve this or that. We have to slog our asses off to get any little bit of sweetness or reward from the universe. This is the consciousness that we are all breaking through at this time. And yeah, that's a wrap. Take care. Ciao, ciao for now, and God is bless. Bye-bye.